Facebook Live. I'm going to give, a couple of seconds, wait for people to come in here. Before people come in, though, Willis, what's the most exciting deal that you sent out today?
The most exciting deal I sent out today. It's been an exciting day overall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it really has. In fact, I tried to squeeze some deals in before we got on this call here. Just sent $493 from Chicago to Tokyo, 2022 cherry blossom season. I mean, $493 round trip. It's hard to argue with that. We also had a pretty widespread $297 round trip to Jamaica for wintertime from all over the U.S.
Ooh, I saw that one.
Yeah, Jamaica is one of those places that you want to go, but it always costs a little bit too much. So it was really fun to see that one come through.
Cool. Well, those are two very exciting deals. Welcome everyone who's joining us now. Welcome to our weekly Scott Sheet Flights Facebook Live. I'm Julian. This is one of our senior flight experts, Willis. Willis, can you just give a quick intro about yourself for those who don't know you?
I'm Willis. I'm not Scott. I'm so close to Scott, but so far away. I've been with Scott for a couple of years now. I do a whole lot of flight searching on the day-to-day basis. If there's something in your inbox, there's like a 35% chance I gave it to you. So I'm happy to talk to you all today.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You've sent a lot of deals. And so, for everyone watching, please drop any questions you have. That's what we're here for. We're here to answer, anything that you may have in mind. But before we jump into the questions, Willis, what would you say, classic question, what would you say is the most exciting deal that you found ever? Not just today.
Ever. It's a crazy, I don't know, you do this to me, Julian. I don't know. My favorite deal I think that I ever found was Boston to Puerto Rico for $23 round trip nonstop.
Yeah. It's a hard one to beat.
$23.
I know.
What else do you have to say? Also, that was it was late last summer. It was for winter travel. It was one of the few places people could go. It was it really got people excited. We had a ton of testimonials after kind of months of people holding back and not wanting to do anything. So that was a really excellent one. And it was honored. It was a mistake there and it was honored, which was great.
I'm thinking back, it really, $23, it made no sense for me not to just drop $23 and go for it.
This is what you do.
Let's push back the availability or whatever. But $23, I had dinner last week that cost the same or something. So
yeah.
And that's just painful. Anyways, let's hop into some of these questions. Allison, starting us off. Hi, hey guys, listening while I get a travel-inspired tattoo, distract from the pain. We'll try as much as we can, but we are going to need to know what that travel-inspired tattoo is because that sounds amazing. So yeah, there you go. Waiting on you, Allison. Mario says, hi guys, regards from Panama. Ooh.
Panama. We sent a good Panama deal this week too. 200.
I saw.
Yeah.
And we sent two, right?
A couple, yeah. They were really kind of hitting left and right. I did my honeymoon in Panama. I love Panama. It's a great country.
There you go. Alma, first question she asked, hi guys, looking forward to hearing some wise travel tips for how the industry is shifting with the constant changes. It's a wide question, Willis, and there's a lot that we can go in there. But what are some of your initial thoughts you have for that?
First of all, if you want wisdom, I don't know if you come to the right place, but you have insight. You have some insight here. The industry's shifting rapidly. Airlines are kind of playing catch up right now. It's an interesting time to be traveling. One thing that we've seen a lot, which we're really excited about as kind of cheap flight aficionados, is that as the world opens up, as country after country decide that they're going to start welcoming Americans in one way, shape, or form, airlines are racing to add capacity to these places. So we saw that in the beginning when Iceland was the first European country to really broadly say Americans can come. Delta added capacity, flight prices dropped rapidly because there was this kind of oversupply, and there were amazing deals to be had. That's been my favorite thing to see overall. Actually, Daniel sent to our elite members today a really fun lie flat business class domestic deal, which is the flip side of that. Nice. A lot of airlines have moved a lot of these jets that were flying international flights to kind of run domestic flights while there's been more demand for that. And so you have this kind of luxury product in the sky for these domestic routes that you may not see again for quite a long time. So you kind of have both of these things. You have cheap international fares and kind of really fun, luxurious domestic fares. We have kind of an overstock of planes here.
Yeah, more competitors, lower prices, always a good thing for us. I mean, I can't complain on that side of things. So awesome. Ron asks, any idea when Winter Caribbean will show up? Belize, Nicaragua, Honduras? I mean, quick and dirty answer that I'll give is, I mean, now is definitely a good one. But Willis, any more detailed answers for Ron here?
Well, Scott always says, and he's all wise. That's where the wisdom comes from.
All wise.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Book opposite season, right? So we're in summer right now. You should be thinking winter plan. So you're on the right track. I just mentioned to Julian earlier, we sent some great fares, $297 round trip to Jamaica, all for winter, December, January. Great stuff like that was popping up. We did a Belize deal last week. So they're coming. They're trickling in. Finding some of those kind of winter holiday availability, it's always a little bit tougher, but I'd hold out. I think things are coming. Keep your eyes open right now.
Yeah. Lindsay has a domestic question here. I'm looking for cheap flights from Illinois to Seattle for September. Seems the flights are a bit inflated. Should I wait longer to book?
The short answer is no. You shouldn't wait longer to book. It's, we're coming up on August. It's September now. You're in that window when you want to book. I would see what you see this week, and I would try to nail something down. There have been some really great prices overall to Seattle, so keep your eyes open. If you're flying from Chicago, especially, you're likely to get a pretty good deal. Maybe worth the drive if you're further south in Illinois.
Yeah. That was the first thing that popped into my mind was, out of Chicago, there's definitely something. And we've seen a couple of deals here and there too. So Lizzie asks, I'm leaving for Ireland in 6 weeks. That's awesome. Super excited. I'm super jealous. What kind of proof do I need to bring to show I'm fully vaccinated coming from the US?
You get your CDC card, your little white CDC card. That's what you need. I have heard from some folks that some border control agents in some European countries are even okay with a photo of that. I'd recommend taking a photo, having a copy, but then also having that physical white card because you're going to want to have that. But it'd be nice not to have to pull it out if you don't have to.
Yeah, and also just having a photo of it in general is just a good tip.
Just show it off. It's fun.
Yeah, also that. Yeah. Post it everywhere. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. Greg Lidstone asks a good question. Will you ever have flight deals out of Toronto? So we actually used to. It's a great question. We used to send flights out of Canada and other parts of the world. But right now we are only focused on flight deals originating or departing out of the US. Am I going to say that we will never send flights from places outside of the US? No, I'm not going to say that, but I also can't guarantee that. But the one thing that I will say is, whether it's domestic, whether it's a business class deals, like all of that comes from feedback that we get from members. And that's 1,000% true. It's, if we're seeing that members really want this or members are really asking for that, we take that into consideration. We see how we can work that in. And try to make it, try to add value for everyone, try to, just create all of these new awesome things. So as of now, we are only sending flights out of the US, but we are always listening and always watching for any possible feedback. Anything to add there, Willis?
I will just add, for the time being, because you love our product, you're here hanging out with us, subscribe to Buffalo. Like, Buffalo gets deals. You'd be surprised. I mean, the border's not open yet. The border's going to open soon. You can drive down to Buffalo and fly out of there. We do send deals to Buffalo. Also, keep your eye out on New York City deals, because those deals come up very often. Toronto has a very similar price going internationally. So
there you go. That's a real tip. That's an expert tip right there. Gail asks or says, prices are still insanely low. Thanks, Scott. But with a possible third pandemic wave, is the future of international travel still a little shaky? Could that be the reason behind the still low prices? Willis, I know you have a lot to say on this one. You can just go for it.
That quote, a possible third pandemic wave makes me sick to my stomach, that idea. That said, I think that there's a lot of things going on here, right? Prices are pretty low internationally, and it's really fun. Part of it is because demand hasn't picked up. A lot of people are kind of, hedging their bets for international travel. Domestic demand is almost back to where it was, in some cases above where it was pre-pandemic. But international demand is lagging as folks, portion of the population is not vaccinated yet. A lot of the world's not open yet. So I think that's really where a lot of these low prices are coming from. I don't think it's people hedging based on the third pandemic wave. It's more about they're waiting for that interest to show. And, the more the news, people get scared about X, Y, and Z variant, anything else that's happening, the slower that demand is going to pick up. So we're probably going to see these cheap flights for quite a while. That said, the good part of all of this is that right now, even with, variants and everything happening, particularly in Europe as countries open up. They're taking measures that are more kind of based on localization and keeping things tight within their own communities. There's not been a lot of movement towards rolling back these openings that have happened. So I'm going to Italy and Spain next month, and I am 100% sure. I am 99.5% sure that I'm going. I don't think anything's going to be rolled back at this point in any serious way.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we are seeing a lot of low prices or extra low prices, pandemic pricing. But we've also saw, I mean, I think this is one of Scott's favorite topics. It's like we also saw a lot of these deals and amazing prices pre-pandemic. It's not because of the pandemic these deals are lowering or even better. There, we do have some great pandemic pandemic pricing deals. Wow, I can't figure that one out. But overall, like the past couple of years have just been great for flight deals in general. So
it is true. Every time we look at those kind of all-time best deals lists, I'm always surprised how many of those came from 2018 or 2019.
Right.
As opposed to in the last year.
And then you have, your $23 to just.
That's a pandemic scorch right
now. All right. Next question is from Julia. So just announced no travel, maybe travel from US to Canada. I'm still hoping to go in September. What do you think? Willis, didn't I read somewhere that US Canada was something coming up?
I believe it's August 7th. Don't quote me on the exact date. I believe it's August 7th.
Yeah. One of 7th.
I think I know what Julia is referring to. The State Department did a kind of another renewal of level 3 travel warning for Canada. That's a recommendation. It means that State Department employees generally won't be put on task to go to Canada, and it means they say, hey, we think there's still a risk. If you look at the State Department website, most countries right now in the world, they label level 3 or level 4. They're being cautious. But realistically, yes, the border is set to be open, I think the first week of August, the end of the first week of August. So September, that sounds pretty good, Julia. You're in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely sounds great. And there you go, Willis. I would not have fully gotten the gist of that question if you weren't here. So I appreciate that.
Julian, that's what I'm here for every day.
Yeah, for actually understanding questions that I'm just apparently not getting. So there you go. Alma asks, how about good travel time from Utah or Vegas to Cancun?
Utah or Vegas to Cancun. We've seen some pretty good deals, particularly from Vegas to Cancun. We've not seen much from Salt Lake or elsewhere in Utah recently. I would kind of keep Cancun right on the edge between that domestic and international window because there's a lot of demand for Cancun right now. I'd probably be looking about 3 months out or so for Cancun. But keep your eyes open now. Airlines have added a lot of capacity down to Cancun, and you'll see some surprisingly good prices down there. I know we've seen stuff in the 200s from Vegas to Cancun in the last month or so.
Yeah, there you go. Cassandra says, we need flights out of Sacramento, California. We've, surprisingly, we've sent a good, well, I don't know if I should say surprisingly, but we've actually seen a good number of deals out of Sacramento. I do know that a lot of them were premium deals, and Willis, you would probably know better. So if you're not a premium member, you may have missed a number of the deals that were sent to our Sacramento members. But in general, Sacramento, gets a good amount of the deals that we see, especially a lot of the deals that we might see out of LAX or San Francisco, just West Coast in general. So, any other insight there, Willis?
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking out for Sacramento. They've gotten, for reference, premium members this week have gotten 4 deals. We're here at Wednesday. So it's not the easiest airport to serve. They don't have the same kind of amazing deals that San Francisco might have. But they do get in on a lot of these things, and our premium members, they get them. So I've got one word of advice for you, Cassandra. That's it. Sign up for premium.
There you go. Brooklyn Joe, good old friend Brooklyn Joe says, funny watching you guys 3 hours later while back in New York. Yeah, Brooklyn Joe was home. Willis, I don't know if you know, Brooklyn Joe does not live in Brooklyn.
But then where does Brooklyn Joe live? And why is it?
It's a whole story. We'll have a whole Facebook Live dedicated just to that. So Brooklyn Joe is I think not in Costco today. So also just we're just going everywhere today. So Antonio asks, can Americans travel to England or need to quarantine?
That is opening up again soon. We've heard some good news. I don't have the exact date in this noggin of mine, but I believe it's next month. Right now, no, if you go, you have to quarantine. But they have announced that they're planning on opening up quite soon. It's been kind of a herky-jerky process with the UK overall, sadly. But it feels like things are finally moving in a good direction. They've had their issues with travel between the UK and the EU. I think that they've had to make all of their own rules. That they're kind of acting independently right now. It's been a little bit more difficult to predict what the flow is going to be. But we expect, very shortly that border should be opened up, and we should have travel between the US and the UK.
Yeah. Julia says, in the past week, Southwest has changed 3 of my 4 flights. WTF? Oh, we're sorry to hear about that. But yeah, I mean, with changed flights, depending on how much they change, like there's things that you can look into and changes that you could possibly make depending on, of course, how changed that flight actually was. So sorry to hear that, though. That is always annoying. It's always a pain. Do you have any thoughts there, Willis? Or
only that, I'd rather deal with Southwest customer service than a lot of other airline customer service.
That is fair.
You can cancel up to 20 minutes before your flight on Southwest and get your money back. So it stinks. A lot of this is happening as airlines are kind of readjusting capacity and trying to figure out what routes they want to run and how they want to run them. But you're always in good hands with Southwest. They take care of people, even if they jerk you around a little bit first.
You're not wrong. Paula asks a very good question. Paula, very good but dangerous question. Paula says, can you do a Scott's after dark or after hours, I think it was called. I'm assuming this is just like no holds barred, unfiltered opinions from Scott's. I think that'd be fun. I think that'd also be dangerous, though. Scott is notoriously known for having very strong opinions. There's also a reason why Willis is here. Willis is also notoriously known for having strong opinions. And I'm just kind of here. But yeah.
The professional instigator, that's what he does. It's
why that is true.
The team has their opinions come out very quickly because Julian brings them out of us. So
there you go. So Paula, the question is, maybe, but we're going to really have to figure out how we want to do that. But again, like I said with the feedback, you never know. Mona asks, "Is Canada open?" Yeah. Well, in August, as Willis was saying, August 7th, I think was the date. So yeah, Canada is opening up real soon. You did talk about England, Willis, but how about Scotland?
Scotland and England will be going lockstep with each other. So keep your eye on overall UK rules. Some Scots don't want that to be the case, but as of now, they're working together.
Again, a whole other.
We're not going to get into that again. That's for dark.
Yeah, let's. Before the next question, Willis. I mean, we're just kind of going one after the other, which is great, and I think people probably love that. But I want to hear a little bit more about the draft behind you. What's the story with that?
What's the story with that? I wish I could tell you the story with that. It was a gift from a cousin of mine. When I was younger, I did a lot of work with wildlife in Southern Africa. It was my first travel experience, and I came.
Yeah, we could talk. I mean, we could again have another Facebook Live just about Willis's experiences and travel experiences and wildlife experiences. But yeah, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, I do have a safari hat. I was a registered safari guide. I have a hat. I used to have a bushy beard, so you can just imagine all of that. And I guess the giraffe is just there to make you remember that I was once a young man and now I'm an old man. So that's all.
There you go. That's the entire story.
That's all of it.
So. I like it. Nasser, with a really good piece of feedback. I think it'd be cool if we can have a specific destination on a watch list. Yeah, I agree. I think that would be a very valuable tool to have. And again, thank you for the feedback. We're always looking to see what we can add, what can be helpful, what can be actually helpful to our members, which is obviously super important. So Jim has a question. He says, prices have quadrupled in money to Aruba. Also, I just love Jim's profile picture. That is one of the cutest dogs I've seen. I typically depart from Newark, Philly, or Baltimore. Do you know of an airport in the East Coast with low prices departing in the fall to Aruba?
I can't vouch for the prices right now because prices change so rapidly. But a couple of things. First of all, you generally can get pretty decent JetBlue prices from those airports that you named there, Newark and Philly, down to Aruba. The other thing is Miami. And prices between Miami and New York City especially have been under $100 round trip lately. So Miami is your golden ticket to fly to the Caribbean, to Central America, to much of South America. If you're looking for that really cheap price and you're not finding it anywhere else, look for a cheap connection down to Miami. And then, add Miami to the airports you follow with SCF, and you're going to find some really amazing deals down to the Caribbean. It just, sometimes there are so many, we can't even send them all. We go through and we say, Miami has an embarrassment of riches with Caribbean deals. So, and Aruba is no exception at all there.
Yeah. I just love that Brooklyn Joe did answer the question, no Costco today. So, now we know. Now we can rest.
Julian, I've never been in a Costco. You know that? Never.
You've never been to a Costco?
Never been in one. Never. 0 times. And I feel like I'm kind of maybe risking being fired by announcing this here, but
yeah. I mean, we're about to go into a Scott's After Dark real quick here. We'll continue with the questions first, and then we'll see where that leads. But wow, that is shocking news. I did not know that.
And you have worked with me for more than 2 years, and
I have.
You thought you liked me. Yeah.
I know. What we're learning here is just, anyways, KK's coming in, saving the day. I'm getting slammed with deals from SEF lately. Thank you. Love that. And big thank you to Willis. He is one of the reasons why, if you're getting a lot of deals, a lot of them are coming from Willis. So
we like to hear that. We like to hear that you want to have a full inbox, because sometimes we feel a little guilty about it. But that's what it is.
Yeah. Lizzie asks, I bought the cheap flight you sent out for Tokyo for $350. That's amazing. A couple months ago, our trip is March 2022. Odds on Japan allowing us in by then?
I think they're pretty good. I don't think it's a sure bet by any means, because Japan's been having their own trouble with things. But their rate of vaccination is picking up. It seems as though in 5-6 months' time they should be at the point that the U.S. is now, that a lot of Europe is at this point, where hopefully they'll be a lot more comfortable opening the border. It is anyone's guess, really. The Olympics are off to kind of a rocky start, and it may kind of put a scare into the Japanese government. But I would think by March 2022, that's a long way off. We're talking, what is that, 9 months out? That's a long way off. A lot of things can change between now and then. So I also have a trip in March 2022. So if you go, I'm going. If you don't, we'll talk. So.
There you go. There's agreements being made already. I mean, this is awesome. A good question from a member of the audience, and I'll just put it up. Some Scots or some Scots? There you go.
Who is this wise man? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a great question. Super wise. That's actually when we had that question about wise and insight earlier.
Exactly. We were looking for wisdom from somebody, and we found it.
Yeah, exactly. Antonio asks, I live in New York. When will Scott Sheep Flights have another premium discount? As of now, we do not have a premium discount going on. And I don't know fully exactly when our next one will be. But all I do know is our marketing department is killing the game. They're doing, big project after huge project after even bigger project, over and over and over. So keep an eye out. Yeah, there very well could be a premium discount coming down the line. I just unfortunately cannot tell you hey, wait until next month or wait until the month after that. But when there is one, and when when one pops up, we'll be sure to announce it in our emails. We'll announce it on Facebook Live. So hopefully you will be able to catch that when or if that comes through. So cool. Another question from M. Greg Lidstone. I love it. Do you have many deals to Southeast Asia? That's a good question. I feel like there's a lot that goes into that. Willis, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, pre-pandemic, we had a lot of deals with Southeast Asia, particularly from the West Coast. They came up all the time. Also New York City, Chicago, stuff, Bangkok, Ho Chi Minh City, even those Bali deals. We had those $300 and something round trip out of Portland to Bali were just terrific. They came up all the time. Right now, with borders closed for the most part, a lot of airlines have stopped running a lot of those routes or have really reduced those routes. The prices have stayed a bit higher than we're comfortable with. But we're seeing a little bit of creep. We're seeing stuff start to creep back slowly but surely. We're all getting very excited about it because we've missed these deals dearly. I love Vietnam, especially. I'm really excited to start sending Vietnam deals again. And it feels like they're coming back. Once those start to trickle back down into the 600s or below, you'll start seeing them in your inbox soon. So,
yeah. All right, Willis, we'll do one or two more questions here. Dina asked a good question: who I contact about posts on SEF Facebook page? I have an idea or two, and she says on SEF deals. One place that you can always go is support@scottsheetflights.com. If it's a more general question or you don't know exactly who to reach out to, that's usually a good go-to so that our amazing member success team can forward it to the right person or the right team that will help you answer that question. If it's the Facebook page or social media in general, you can always DM our Twitter account profile. You can DM our Instagram account. You can even DM our Facebook page, and our amazing member success or social media manager will take care of you there. So yeah, either of those options that I've said could work well. All right, final question, Willis. And this is an interesting one, maybe just because I like ski resorts in general. But Maria asks, what about ski resorts this December? Do you think it will be crowded? Because on one end, especially right now, national parks, as much as I love them, wow, are they packed. And so I guess the logical next question is, we're moving out. Once we move out of the summer, once we move out of the fall, and we're going into the winter, like, it makes sense. Ski resorts are the national parks. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would guess that we would probably see more crowding in ski resorts than you'd see in a typical winter, because there is still a large portion of the population who wants to do outdoor activities, who's really saying, hey, I'm ready to travel again, but I want to be outside. That's what I want to do. That said, we are seeing a little bit of interest pick up again for travel to big cities, which we had not seen for months and months and months, which may mean that a certain portion of people is starting to feel comfortable again, taking that winter trip to New York City to go to Rockefeller Center or something, instead of heading off to Denver and heading up to the ski resorts in Colorado. So yeah, I'd expect some crowding. I don't think it's going to be like you're seeing right now with the national parks where it's standing room only in Yellowstone. But yeah, I would think any outdoor activity for the foreseeable future, until this thing's well behind us, will be a little bit busier than you've seen in the past.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, with that, thank you everyone for joining, for watching, and for posting your questions. I mean, that's what we're here for. That is why we do these weekly Facebook Lives. So thank you for joining in. Thank you, Willis, for hopping on, answering all these questions.
Thank you, Julian, for being the most gracious host in all of history. You should get a cameo on The Price is Right. You could do it, and you could do it well.
Right, there you go. That's the dream, right? But awesome. Thank you everyone for hopping on. We will be back next week at our normal time, our normal day, and I'm looking forward to more of your questions and talking to all of you. So thanks everyone for hopping on.
Bye, everyone.